Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. So today is going to be my TBR for September. So I'm going to be playing my Stargate SG-1 themed TBR game, but I also have to take into account that September is the autumn semester at Orilium University, which is part of the Magical Readathon challenge hosted by G over on Book Roast. And it's one of my favourite reading months of the year, but it does mean that I have 8 extra prompts to fill in along with the ones that come out of the game. Originally, I thought that I would dispense with the external challenges spinner wheel that I normally put in for every prompt I get on the game. I also get one from the spinner wheel and I have to combine them. And I thought it'd be too complicated to try and add in the Orilium prompts after the fact as well. But, you know, where's the fun in that? And I also still have to do the external challenges. So I'm doing buzzword, cover and title. I'm doing Lost in the Library from TBR-athon. I've got 2 other Magical Readathon prompts each month, the Map of Aeldia and the Bog Challenge. You know, so these have all got to be combined in regardless. So I thought I'd just play the game as normal. And then when the prompts come out for Orilium, see what I can do to slot them in. And I do also have hundreds and hundreds of challenge points for Orilium, which mean that I can switch things in and out and change things around and mitigate aspects of the challenge. So hopefully it's all going to be fine. It's going to be fine, isn't it, Stanley? I mean, where's the fun if it's not ridiculously overcomplicated? This is what I say. I think back to the start of 2025 when I was going to be more relaxed about my reading, and now I look at where I am now and I'm so happy that I did not follow that dream. Right, with that said, let's make some tea. So here we are back at the tea drawers, my favourite teapot. It's a bit late in the day for a giant pot of tea, but hey, we are where we are. 19, wow, okay. So that will be the apple and plum oolong. Okay, I really need to rewrite these. Apple and plum oolong, okay. I've actually ordered a new teapot. Can't wait for it to arrive, it's so adorable. So hopefully that will be in my next video. But we shall see when it arrives and whether it actually works. I'm getting rid of the swirly clay one, even though it's really pretty. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work for me. Anyway, plum and apple oolong tea into the current favourite teapot. Might be about to be usurped. I suppose I don't have to fill it all the way to the top, do I? Okay, there we go. Okay, I think everything is ready. Stanley is on quality assurance duties as ever. We've got the game board, the robot TBR jar, the Herculean prompts pot, the external challenges spinner wheel, and we're going to change things up a bit this time around. I probably need 8 books for Magical Readathon, so I'm going to use a D8 instead of 2D6 in the hopes that I will get more rolls in, but might end up being fewer because who knows, it's a die. Random, that's kind of the whole point. And also I'm thinking I always start at the SGC, Stargate Command, and previously I've always gone round clockwise, but this time I think I'm going to go round anti-clockwise just for a bit of variety and to see if doing that and having a different type of die gives me some different prompts, because we've had a few that have come up multiple times and we want it to be interesting and to use the whole board. But before we do that, we have to look at our mission. So mission 4, friendly natives. Making unexpected allies on a new world. Objective, land on at least 2 alien race squares during the game. Right, well, that sounds fairly easy, but again, random, so who knows? So we'll see how we get on with that. So, first roll of the game with the yellow D8. 3. Okay. Well, that's a good start for getting more rolls in. But, uh-oh. 1, 2, 3. Apophis. Ah! Apophis is one of the bad guys. I did say I wanted different squares. So, Apophis in the actual rule spreadsheet says roll 1d6, go backwards and use that square's prompt instead. It's a setback, but the mission continues. So I guess it's possible we might end up back past the start point. Because obviously Apophis's rule was designed for if I was going the other way round and I'd nearly got to the end and it was pushing me backwards. But okay, we're gonna roll with it. Oh, see what I did there? 5. Uh-oh. This feels like it's going wrong already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Orion, which is one of the gate symbols. And the prompt for Orion is a book with a weapon on the cover. So I have to see how we can fit that together with whatever the spinner wheel says, and also possibly a Magical Readathon prompt. I'm feeling already as if this is far too complicated, but hey, what are we going to do? We are going to spin the spinner wheel, that's what we're going to do. A net galliarch. Okay. Well, I suppose that gives me quite a lot of flexibility, which may be able to fit with all of the other stuff that's going on. Sure, okay. We'll see what we can find. You'll have to forgive me if I have to refer to my notes throughout the book picking sections of this video, because there were a lot of notes, and I will show you the lists at the end of the video, but I can't hold all this information in my head. So first of all, we got Orion on the Stargate board, which is a weapon on the cover, and that combined on the wheel with a net galliarch, which is something that I've added to the wheel fairly recently, because I remembered I have a NetGalley account and I can read arcs for free, so why not? And for that, I have picked Song for Medusa by Grace Desmarais, which is a graphic novel sapphic retelling of the Medusa myth. Sounds awesome. Totally up for that. And I have managed to find a prompt for my actual subject, my calling that I'm studying at the Orilium University, which is Star Whisperer, which fits for this prompt because one of the alchemy prompts that I have to complete is poison. So that can be some kind of poisonous element on the cover, some kind of poisonous element in the title, something that poison related in the book. And because there's a picture of Medusa with all the snakes, I'm going to assume that they are poisonous snakes, because why would they not be? And I'm going to use it for that. Roll number 2. 5. Okay. One, two, three, 4. Okay. I see how this is gonna go. Apophis again. One. Okay, so that's a bit better. Less likely to have this happen again. So back to the staff weapon. So the staff weapon prompt is a thriller or mystery, which is not something that I go for too often, but I do have some. So this would be a good way to get to some of those. But what does it want me to combine it with? Pride Bingo. I don't think I've got any thrillers or mysteries on my Pride Bingo TBR. So that's going to be interesting. So roll 2 in the game gave us thriller or mystery from the staff weapon space on the board. And I have to combine that with Pride Bingo. This meant that I had to search out a new book that hadn't previously been anywhere on my radar because I didn't have any mysteries or thrillers on my Pride Bingo TBR. But I have found Bury Me When I'm Dead by Cheryl Head, which is going to fulfill the BIPOC author space on the Pride Bingo board. And it is a mystery thriller because it's about a detective agency solving crimes, because that's what detective agencies do. And I have also managed to make it fit one of the actual assigned prompts for my subject in Orilium, which is the Psionics in Divination class, the level 3 prompt, which is you have to flip a coin, and heads it's a standalone and tails is a series, and I got tails, and this is the first one in a series. So I think we're doing pretty well so far, Stanley, combining all the prompts. Look at us go. Roll number 3. 1. Right. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay. We're back on Apophis for the 3rd time. I know I said I wanted more books on my TBR, but this is ridiculous. Okay. 4. One, two, three, 4. Jack. So the prompt for Jack is a rogue or maverick protagonist. So I don't know how easy that's going to be, but I guess that does happen quite a lot. And what are we combining it with? Reddit Fantasy Bingo. Okay, I do still have a few prompts of that left to fulfill, so I guess we will see what we can combine with that. Roll 3 on the board gave us Jack, which is a rogue or maverick protagonist, and that I have to combine with Reddit Fantasy Bingo. And for that, I'm picking a Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer by Maxi Dara, which is going to fulfill the afterlife square on the Reddit Fantasy Bingo board. And I'm assuming that a Grim Reaper that decides to try and solve a murder is going to be a rogue or maverick protagonist moving outside their generally allocated role. So I'm assuming that that's going to fit that too. But here is the first time where I'm going to use some of my Orilium points to swap out a prompt. So there are various scrolls that you can buy from the Emporium at the university, and one of them is a scroll of exchange, which means that you can take a prompt out of your list and replace it with a different one. Now the subjects in the autumn equinox all have different levels, so ordinary, qualified and distinguished. Go the other way. Ordinary is at the bottom, then it's qualified, and then it's distinguished. And I have decided that if I'm going to swap out prompts, I can't just swap them out willy-nilly. If I have to hit a particular level in a subject, I have to swap that out with the same level in a different subject. So for one of my Q level prompts, I am going to swap out the skull prompt from psionics and divination, and I'm going to replace it with the blade prompt from artificery, because there is a scythe on the cover of the Grim Reaper book, and so that is definitely a blade. Okay, roll number 4. We haven't actually managed to get past the start point yet. Can we please get past Apophis on this roll? Come on. I'm taking it because I think that gets us past Apophis. It fell on the floor, but we're having it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hurrah. Just past Leo. It's another one of the gate symbols. And that's an animal on the cover or in the title. And that is going to be combined with buzzword title. Okay, that could be tricky, because that's 2 title prompts. And the September prompt for the buzzword title challenge is me or my or mine in the title of the book. And I did have some stuff in mind for that, but I don't think it fits with the animal prompt, so might be tricky. Roll 4 on the board gave us Leo, which is an animal on the cover. And the spinner wheel gave us the buzzword title prompt, which is me, my or mine in the title. And this is another one where I've had to search out a book which is completely not something that I had ever thought of reading. And that's My Cat Yugoslavia by Pajtim Statovci. And yeah, I don't actually know a huge amount about this one, but one of the reasons I picked it was because one of my Orilium prompts is the ordinary level of the illusions subject, and that involved a colour wheel. I had to look at the book that I was currently reading, which was Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, pick the colour that most closely matched the cover, which was violet, and then go with a book, the colour that is opposite that on the wheel, which was yellow. And even though this may not look like a particularly yellow book, there were gradations of yellow on the wheel, and the lighter colours does match My Cat Yugoslavia. So I'm going to go with that. And it turns out that it's actually on the shelf in my local library, which really took me by surprise when I looked it up. But there you go. So I'll be able to get it from the library. Okay, roll number 5. Oh, that's a 4. Nearly destroyed the board, but it's definitely a 4. Okay, I need to put these back on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hathor as another bad guy. Okay. So Hathor is one of the most complicated, probably the most complicated prompt on the board, and I need to go on a scavenger hunt, which involves taking the last book I finished, using a random number generator to identify a page, rolling a die for which line on that page, and picking a book with one of the words in that line in the title which does not include and, the, of, or words like that. Right. Okay, so for Hathor's Scavenger Hunt, the last book I finished was Neon Gods by Katie Robert, which has 420 pages. So we're going for page 24, and I'm assuming that there are at least 20 lines on a page. So I'm going to roll the d20 for the line. 20. Okay. So, page 24. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, man behind me, where did the other one go? So I need a book with man behind me, where did other one or go in the title. And that's going to be paired with oh, the non-challenge shelf. Okay, there's quite a lot of books on the non-challenge shelf. So we may be onto a winner there, but I guess we'll find out. Someone did say to me when I failed my June TBR, I think, that people on BookTube were switching from TBRs to piles of possibilities, and I'm starting to think that's going to be necessary for this month's TBR. Roll 5 was the scavenger hunt, which left me with multiple words that I could find in a title. And I had quite a few options for this, but I have picked Here One Moment by Liane Moriarty, which is right here. It's been on my shelf for a little while. On a plane bound for Sydney, the unassuming woman from seat 4D walks down the aisle, making unsettling predictions about the passengers, and 6 strangers find their lives unexpectedly crossing. So that sounds fascinating to me. I've been a bit hit or miss with Liane Moriarty. Some of them I've absolutely loved, and others I've DNF'd, so we'll see how it goes. It's also quite useful because it's got lightning on the cover, which fits with the Mother Nature square of Herkyard, which I've been having trouble. And that also had to fit with the non-challenge shelf. That was it on the external challenges spinner wheel, and this was not on my challenge shelf, although I am now using it for Herkyard, but you know, it was on the non-challenge shelf because it's also got 1 in the title, which is how it fits with the scavenger hunt, and I'm also probably going to use it for that for Herkyard too. So it's becoming a challenge book. It's coming off the non-challenge shelf into the reading challenges, also because I will be using it for Magical Readathon. And this is another swap. I am using Conjuration at the Q level, which is to read a thriller. So that works out for that. Okay, roll number 6. 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Martouf. Martouf's one of my all-time favourite characters in Stargate. Poor old Martouf. So his prompt is a TBR veteran because he hangs around hoping to be picked for a very long time. And his wish is not granted. But yes, TBR veteran, okay. That should be easy enough to combine. But what are we combining it with? The Bog Challenge. Okay. So we're on number 9 on the Bog Challenge board, which is this one, which is Cozy. Cozy TBR Veteran. That should be very easy to find. Hopefully we'll be able to combine it with an Orilium prompt as well, because I've got to tick off the Bog Challenge regardless. So excellent. That's a good combo for number 6. Roll 6. TBR Veteran from good old Martoof. And the Bog Challenge from Magical Readathon, which this month is a cozy read. And I only actually had one possible option, so I was very, very pleased when one of the Orilium prompts I actually needed to fulfill, which is psionics and divination at the distinguished level, was Moon, because I am going to pick The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill, which has been on my TBR for one of the longest times. I was originally going to listen to the audiobook, but for some reason it's not available anymore. So again, I have found that I can get it from the library. And this is a cozy middle grade, I think, about a young girl with magical powers. And I think there's some kind of issue with her not being able to control them or not being allowed to have them. I can't remember because it's been a long time since I've looked it up, but that's going to be for those prompts. Roll number 7. Another 4. Okay, we are making progress, but it's not particularly swift. 1, 2, 3. What? For every bad guy. And we hit Apophis 3 times. Okay, Senator Kinsey. So Senator Kinsey's prompt is that the next roll is only 1d6 instead of normally 2d6. So it's not going to make a massive amount of difference in this game because he is restricting the SGC's resources, and also picking a robot jar prompt because he's imposing systems that they don't want. So excellent. Robot TBR jar gets a look in. There he is. He's ready to go. Let's take his head off. Let's dig around. Get one right from the bottom. Green one. What does it say? Oh! Non-fiction! Ah, Senator Kinsey, what are you doing to me? Okay. Non-fiction combined with the wheel could be tricky. Although not if it's Pride Bingo, because there is a non-fiction specific square on the Pride Bingo board. So that's actually working out quite well because I've got to read one anyway. So, okay, we'll take it. I'm a bit concerned though, because we haven't got... I'm a bit concerned though, because we're on roll 8 now, and we've still got the buzzword cover challenge, Lost in the Library, and the Aeldia map, which have got to be added into the TBR regardless of whether they come up on the wheel or not. Ha! Stanley! Help! What is happening? The game has gone rogue. Roll number 7, Senator Kinsey gave me non-fiction out of the robot TBR prompt jar. So good old robot got a look in. And I also had to combine that with Pride Bingo, which is awesome because there is a non-fiction square on the Pride Bingo board. So I'm going to go for Sounds Fake But Okay, which is a book about asexuality and aromanticism, which I am very interested in. The non-fiction square on the Pride Bingo hard mode is a subject that you don't really know much about, and I don't really know much about that aspect of the queer rainbow. So I am looking forward to finding out. And I'm kind of crowbarring a little bit. It's another swap because in lore, Lore, subject for Magical Readathon, I only have to do one level, but I'm going to do the distinguished level rather than the ordinary level, and that is a book based on a real story. So it's not really a story because it's non-fiction, and I think there's like memoir aspects, but memoir is obviously based on reality, so I'm going with it because, you know, I have to fit these prompts in somehow. Oh, it's all fine. Roll 8. 8! Oh, okay. Now we're cooking on gas, as my mother always says. Okay. Oh, we're skipping past Baal. Excellent, excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gemini. Gemini is 2 people or items on the cover, which I remember being quite difficult last time. But I guess we will see how it combines. Not many of these left on this wheel. We might run out before we run out of rolls. Aeldia map, also generally quite specific. Okay. So I'm here. I used the True Light, which was a book with light in the title, and I can either inspect the frost or leave the underground. And normally I would choose on the map before I look up what the prompts are. But I think I'm going to give myself some extra flexibility and look up what the prompts are and then choose afterwards once I've figured out whether I can fulfill any of them. So, leave the underground. You can either continue deeper in or come out for air, and you decide you've had enough of this stuffiness. Greenery, here you come. Read the last book in a series. Okay. Or inspect the frost. The mountain walls glimmer with an odd frost that is illuminated by your true light. It's a very peculiar type of frost. You've never seen anything like this. It seems to dance and move with you. How odd. You must collect some to investigate later. Read a book with a light blue cover. Okay, so I'm going to leave that decision until I've figured out whether or not I can combine that with a book with either 2 people or 2 items on the cover. Roll 8 gave me Gemini, which I got last month as well, which is 2 people or 2 items on the cover. And I also got the Adventures in Aeldia map, and I'm going to choose to go the way which gives me the light blue cover prompt. And also, it works out particularly well if I swap out another Orilium prompt for the spells and incantations ordinary level of a book that was added to your TBR last month. Now, I think that probably means it's meant to be a book that you've added to your TBR list in general fairly recently. But I am going to take it as it was a book that I actually added to my specific August TBR and then didn't read. And that is The Floating Amsterdam Flower Shop by Annabelle French, which is the only book I have that I could find that has 2 people or 2 items, because I got that last month as well as two little tiny people on this cover. So it's going back on the TBR, and I'm hoping to be able to get around to reading it this time because it's more important to fulfill the prompts this month than last month. So there you go. Roll number 9. 7. Excellent. Although, haven't actually landed on any alien races yet so far. So the mission is looking very dodgy. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh! Just said that, and we have landed on one, but there's none others left. The rest of the map, so I cannot succeed in my mission. But the replicators is an alien race, and there's another robot jar prompt. Robot jar's getting a good look in this month. Let's have, oh, we've got two. This other green one, what does it say? Cover that most closely matches my outfit. Okay, interesting. And I've got to combine that with, oh, what's it going to be? We need the buzzword cover. Oh, Herkid, okay. Lots of, well, I was going to say lots of flexibility there, but not if we actually pull one out of the Herkid pot. Just get the robot's head out of the way. Okay. Let's go with this one. Road trip. Okay. And roll 9. Oh, 9 rolls. I mean, I did say that I needed at least 8, so, you know, I can't really complain. We got the replicators, which gave us another prompt out of the robot TBR jar, which was the book that most closely matches my outfit. And I have found Queen Lucia by E.F. Benson. And as you can see, the orange and the blue matches the orange and the blue of my t-shirt. So I'm definitely going for that. It also fits the Herkid road trip prompt because it's on my TBR for my UK road trip because it's set in Worcestershire. So that helps out. And I'm going back to Artificery, which is not one of my Magical Readathon subjects, but I'm swapping out again and taking the ordinary level where the main character has to be within 5 years of your age. And I've looked up and there are 2 main characters in Queen Lucia. One of them is 40, which is too young, but one of them is 45, and that works because that's within 5 years of my age. So I'm going with that. Right, roll number 9. We could get back. We could get back. And I said I wanted 8 books, and I've got 8 books so far. 8! Yes! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, back at the SGC, but we only managed 1 alien race. So if I had succeeded, I could have replaced the longest book in my selection with one of the 3 shortest on the TBR spreadsheet, which would have been very handy. Failure means, oh good God, replace the shortest book on your TBR with one over 500 pages from the TBR spreadsheet. Right. This game really didn't help me out this month. But, you know, September I do a lot of reading because there's Orilium sprints and the all-nighter. I think I've got a couple of weekends free, so get back into reading. I've been a bit lax with my reading in recent months, so this is a good opportunity. So we'll see what we have to do with that. Oh, did not succeed in our mission. Even with 9 rolls, we still didn't succeed in our mission. So that means we've got to take the shortest book off the list and replace it with one that's over 500 pages. But I am a bit disappointed because the shortest book is The Sounds Fake But Okay. And I was really looking forward to reading that. And I don't get the prompt to read non-fiction that often. And I do have to read a non-fiction book for Pride Bingo. So that will come back around at some point. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. But I have 2 other options which are going to help me out because last month's TBR spin book, I picked The Robber Bride, which I haven't got round to reading, so I need to put it on this TBR anyway. And it's... oh no. It's only 470 pages, so no, that's no good. It is going on the TBR anyway, because I still have to fulfill the damage on the cover prompt from last month's Buzzword-a-thon. But it does also fit with the book at risk from unhaul prompt from Magical Readathon, because I had been thinking that I wasn't that fussed about reading it and I might just let it slide away and never be spoken of again, but I will use that prompt to stick it back on the TBR. But I do also luckily have another option for the replacement, which is book 5 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinnerman, which is The Butcher's Masquerade. That's very much over 500 pages and also fits the Buzzword cover prompt for September, which is smoke or fire on the cover. So that's kind of helpful. And it also fits one of my assigned prompts, so one that I don't have to swap out, which is the astronomy Q level prompt of looking back to see a recent 5-star read and then reading something by the same author. And whilst 2, 3 and 4 I haven't given 5 stars for in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, the first one I did, so it counts. So there you go, that's my books. Yeah, I had, when I was looking at the SG-1 and spinner wheel prompts, I made these lists with lots of different options on to then fit with the Orilium prompts. And then when the Orilium prompts came out, I had to write out a big list of the ones that I was going for. And then I've done another list down the bottom of how they all fit in, of which ones I'm picking and which ones I'm swapping out. So it's been a bit chaotic, but it's always so much fun. I mean, I love a list, I love a spreadsheet. Trying to fit all the prompts together is always a huge amount of fun. But yes, so I have only these 3 physical books. I will be getting some from the library. There's a couple of audiobooks on the list and maybe an ebook or 2. And yes, I hope you have enjoyed this rather overcomplicated installment of my TBR game. Please do give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want more content of me and Stanley talking about books. And I hope to see you in another video very soon. Bye for now.